Hello, good crowd. I am so thrilled to have with us today Kara Reindl. She is the Director of Communications and Development for Rehema Home. And they've been doing some fundraising for a fund they called the Harry Kamanzi Emergency Medical Fund on CaringCrowd, having great success, making a big difference in the world. You don't want to miss this episode. Stick around.
Welcome to the Your Mark on the World show with your champion of social good, Devin D. Thorpe.
Our sponsor, Johnson & Johnson, matches most individual donations up to $250 at CaringCrowd.org. Kara, welcome to the show.
Hi, Devin. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. Tell us about Rehema Home.
Sure. So Rehema Home is actually a Kenyan initiative. It was founded by Kenyan leaders in 1998. It was a children's home that came out of a need for children's homes, but a need for children's homes that was raised to a certain standard of care that Kenyan leaders felt was genuinely missing in some of the kind of institutions that were in existence for children. They wanted something that was genuine and loving and felt more like a family. And so they started in 1998 with 4 kids. Directors and founders, Irvin Rishwan, have been running our Nairobi home for the last 21 years. And now we have 2 locations and we're up to 104 kids and young adults.
Wow. It's amazing work that you're doing. You raised some money on CaringCrowd for the Harry Kamanzi Emergency Medical Fund. Before we talk about your experience and how that worked, I want to ask you to tell us about Harry Kamanzi.
Oh my goodness, Harry. So Harry was one of the first children to join the Rehema Home family. And we absolutely adored him. Wonderful young man. And unfortunately, he passed at the age of 17 due to an unexpected cardiac incident. What was so fantastic about Harry was even though he had multiple health setbacks, he suffered encephalitis, a stroke. At one point, he lost whole function of half of his body, had some memory loss. He was still the most kind, a positive, prayerful, others first person. And we just wanted to honor him and honor his legacy and his memory. And so we couldn't think of a better way to honor him than to put together a medical fund in his namesake that would help other kids with their medical challenges and medical needs. And of course, a way of honoring him, our campaign always kicks off on the day of his passing and always ends on his birthday. So we honor him and his memory in that way.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a great tribute. So you did raise some money on CaringCrowd. Tell us a little bit about your experience honoring Harry by raising money in his name.
Yeah, so we were so grateful to have the opportunity to work with CaringCrowd. I cannot say enough good things about the experience from start to finish. It's just been truly wonderful. The Harry Kamanzi Emergency Medical Fund isn't a new campaign. It is a campaign that we do annually. However, this was our first year that we have partnered with CaringCrowd. And it was so fantastic because we have used other crowdfunding platforms in the past, but of course, not only are they charging you a fee, they're always trying to upsell you their services. And CaringCrowd is like the complete opposite of that. Not only are they not charging you for the service, they're saying, we believe in you and we want to back you. Game changer. Like right away, that's a total game changer for us. So, we started the campaign. We set a very conservative goal after talking with John Brennick, who's been absolutely fantastic, co-founder of CaringCrowd. He has just been fantastic. And he actually coached us like, hey, maybe consider setting this goal. Well, we met the goal within a week. thanks to 19 donors, 9 of which were new to not only the medical fund, but new to Rehema Home in general. And that's fantastic. And so what we did was, after that initial success, I went back to John and I said, hey, you are the expert on this. What is best practice? What do you advise? We hit our goal in a week. What do you think? And he was able to give me some really great insight. And of course, we talked to the board, our US board, and I said, hey, team, this is what John is advising. They said, go for it. We set an encore campaign, and 9 days later, we hit that. So, and again, that was not just existing donors, that was new acquisition as well. So that in development, that's a really big deal. For any lay people who don't work necessarily in development, they're like, Kara, why do you keep talking about new acquisition? It's a very challenging thing. And so we were just so grateful to have such fantastic success in that way.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Kara, what are you most proud of having accomplished at Rehema Home?
Oh my goodness. I think the thing that I'm probably most proud of is helping the team at Rehema Home, because they're doing amazing work. They're the people on the ground that are literally saving lives. And I feel like it's a privilege for me to come alongside and say, how can I help? And oftentimes helping looks like clarifying. And so clarifying and clearly communicating the work that is being done and the way it's being done and the outcomes of what's happening, that is how I'm able to make the biggest contribution, is by being able to clearly communicate what they're already doing. I'm just supporting, you know what I'm saying, and resourcing. So just being able to, encourage the team by telling other people, what a fantastic job they're doing at what they're doing.
Oh, that's great. As you've been doing this work, I'm sure you've encountered a lot of challenges, had a lot of interesting experiences. What's the most important lesson you've learned from all of that?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. So hands down, I would say the most important lesson I've learned is to ask questions, especially when you're working in a cross-cultural team. It is critical to make sure that you are genuinely, from all angles, understanding the obstacle, the challenge, the goal, not only in your perspective, but from their perspective in their culture. So, when you're working with, our team is multicultural, our team is multi-generational. And so being able to really take the time and ask clarifying questions and assume that you don't have all of the components to the problem, assume that you don't have all of the answers, and to really genuinely understand something to the fullest, and then be able to weigh in and say, okay, this is a strategy that I think we might be able to put in effect moving forward. Or what is the strategy that you would advise moving forward? It's really, really important to be a better listener. If you're in communication, you cannot communicate what you don't fully understand.
Carol, why is this work important to you? Why did you choose to do this?
I think I don't know if you're familiar with the Enneagram at all, but the Enneagram is or like Myers-Briggs. Are you familiar? It's like personality types.
Yeah.
So my Myers-Briggs or my Enneagram, it's my makeup is very, very much so that I'm very others-oriented. And so any work that is about helping people, I'm really intrigued in, really interested in. But specifically, I think there is, for me, a specific draw to help particularly children or youth, because I feel like they don't have all the tools that maybe an adult has to advocate for themselves, or to be able to provide themselves with the resources that they might not even know that they need. And so really, just trying to be an advocate for people who don't necessarily have all the tools developed. They don't have the emotional maturity. They don't have the language around expressing what they need, but they absolutely need it. So, I've always been drawn to nonprofit work, and especially for those who have difficulty communicating for themselves.
Yeah. Well, That's really a powerful insight, and I'm grateful for the choice you've made to work on behalf of these kids who do so desperately need your help. Kara, what is your superpower?
Oh man, I don't know if I would necessarily say I have a superpower, but I would say one of my strengths is being able to really resource through relationship. So I personally find in my experience that people are generous. They genuinely are. People are generous. However, you have to find the cause that resonates with them, and you have to approach them in a season where they have margin. Margin being they have the time, they have the resources, either financially, emotionally, mentally, they have the capacity in the season. So it's not just finding the thing that they care about, but approaching them at a time and a place where they have margin to actually do something about it. And I think once you have those two things in alignment, what you're able to do is say, this is where we could use you specifically. Can you rise to the challenge? And I find that people are genuinely generous then. They're like, absolutely, this is something I believe in. I have the margin. I'm going to commit to this. And so really finding resources through relationship, I would say, is definitely my strength. And I think that's really how you move the ball forward. Very rarely does genuine success happen because of just one person. Usually it is a result of genuine collaboration. And a lot of times, many behind the scenes conversations that lead up to it.
No, fantastic. Well, Kara, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your time with us. Before you go, would you take just a minute and tell people how they can learn more about Rehema Home and how they can connect with you personally?
Sure. So best way to learn about Rehema Home is you can go ahead with the website, rehemahome.org. You can also find us on Instagram or Facebook with the same handle, Rehema Home. And then getting in touch with me personally, feel free to reach out on LinkedIn, or you can email me direct at kara@rehemahome.org.
Excellent. Again, Kara, thank you so much for all of your help and support and your time, and we wish you every success in the great work you're doing at Rehema Home.
Thank you, Devin. Take care.
All righty. Let's do some good.
At CaringCrowd, we believe everyone has the power to make a difference. Through our crowdfunding platform for community health, we empower passionate people to drive real change. Whether you work for a nonprofit organization, volunteer, or want to get involved for the first time, you can post a campaign on CaringCrowd. Join us, because caring is where change begins.
Thanks for tuning in to the Your Mark on the World show, the Social Impact Podcast. Please subscribe via YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or Spotify.